Hi, and welcome to Remote Learning Lesson 48. Today's lesson is finding the volume of two solid figures. The LAQ for today's lesson is, how can you find the volume of cubes and rectangular prisms? And today's objective is, I can find the volume of two solid figures composed of two non-overlapping rectangular prisms. Today we're going to be using the volume formula to find two different volumes before adding them together. So remember, the volume formula is length times width times height. Let's review some things. A square is a shape where all four sides are equal. If you look at the example, all four sides of this shape are 4 inches long. A rectangle is a shape where the opposite sides are equal. In this example, the two 5s are equal and the two 3s are equal. Let's move on to problem number 1. For problem number 1, we're going to find the volume of the two rectangular prisms. And in order to do this, we're going to find the volume of the first one, and then we're going to find the volume of the second one. And what I'm going to do is pointing to this first one, I'm going to label that one A. And then the second one, I'm going to label that one B. So I'm going to find the volume of A, and then I'm going to find the volume of B, and then I'm going to combine my two volumes together to find the volume of them combined. For A, I need to circle the numbers that go along with A. 2 inches goes with A, and then I'm looking around to see if there's any other numbers that I can see. Well, A happens to be a cube, which is actually a bunch of squares. So because of that, we know that all of the sides are going to be 2 inches. So we know that the volumes formula for this is going to be 2 times 2 times 2. So let's start with 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. So A's volume is 8 cubic inches. Now let's look at B. For B, the numbers are 2, 4, and 2. So we're going to multiply those together. 2 times 4 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. The volume for B is 16 cubic inches. So now I'm just going to combine A and B. 8 inches cubed plus 16 inches cubed gives me 24 cubic inches. So the volume of this rectangular prism is 24 cubic inches. Problem number 2. I notice that I have two different shapes, so I'm going to call the first one A and the one below it B. So A, I'm going to figure out my numbers. I know one of the numbers is 2. And then I'm looking around and I see that this 5 actually looks like the width of A, so I'm going to use that as well. And then if I look over at the 3 is actually the length. So 3 is my length, 5 is my width, and 2 is my height. So I'm going to multiply 2, 3, and 5. I'm going to choose to go 2 times 5 times 3, and then 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 3 is 30. So the volume of A is 30 cubic inches. When I do B, I see that 6 inches is my length. That 5 that I use for A is also the width of B, and 4 is my height. So I'm going to multiply 6 times 5 times 4. And 6 times 5 is 30, and 30 times 4 is 120. So when I combine my A plus my B, I'm going to combine 30 plus 120. And when I add 30 and 120, I get 150 cubic inches. Problem number 3. I'm going to label the top box A and the bottom box B. Now, if I focus on A, I'm going to notice that A's face side is a square. That means it's going to have all the sides that are equal. So I need to find something that will match something that would be in A. I look at the 4 because the 4 almost looks like it's trying to get me to say that that's part of that cube, but it's not because 4 is the length of A and B combined. So I'm going to find this 2 down here because it is the width of A. And if 2 is the width of A, then the length of A is 2 and the height of A is 2. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So A is 8 cubic meters. Now for B, I'm going to have 6 meters, that's my length, the 2 meters, that's my width that I've already used for A, and the 2 meters is my height. So I'm going to have 2 times 6 times 2. When I multiply, I get 2 times 6 is 12, and 12 times 2 is 24, 24 cubic meters. Now, to find A and B combined, I would add A plus B, which is 8 plus 24, and I get 32 cubic meters. Problem 4. Let's put an A in the top box and a B in the second box. So when you look at A and B, they're the exact same shape, and that means they represent the exact same numbers as well. They're identical. So A's numbers are going to be 3, 14, and 5. 3 for the width, 14 for the length, and 5 for the height. When we multiply 3 times 14 times 5, we're going to get the volume for A, but we're also going to get the volume for B as well. 3 times 14 is 42, and 14 times 5 is 210. So you'll have 210 cubic centimeters. When you do B, you're going to have the exact same numbers, the 3 centimeters, the 14 centimeters, and the 5 centimeters. When you multiply 3 and 14, you're still going to get 42, and when you multiply it again by 5, you're going to get 210 cubic centimeters. Now all you got to do is combine A's volume and B's volume. 210 plus 210 gives us 420 cubic centimeters. Now it's your turn to complete your problem set and application problem independently. Please complete both and send me a picture. You can text me, email me, send it through the Remind app, or through Google Classroom. Don't forget to send it to me to get credit for this lesson. I can't wait to see your work, and I can't wait to see you again. Bye, boys.